Hi, in this first part of the tutorial, we created a table inside our database PHP Academy and we created our fields with all the relevant data to go with it, data types, etc. Now we will insert some dummy data inside our database by doing this. I'll not click this insert button here because by clicking this button here, we get very easy to use interface where we can type in first name, last name, date of birth, using the calendar functions over here. You can see that just popped up, and we can also enter a gender here. As this is MySQL PHP tutorial, I'll show you how to insert data using MySQL or PHP. Now first of all, we need to connect to our database. Under MySQL.php file, we will use the include function to include our file connect.php. Now if this is not in the same directory, you know that you can say subdirectory and then connect. Please specify this properly. If you don't want the page to execute, if you don't want the rest of the page to execute here, you can use the require function. The require function kills the page if this isn't found from here on. The include will include it and then it will continue to echo or continue to run the rest of the page. If you use the require function, it will in fact kill if this cannot be included. So what I will say is require connect.php just to say that if you can't connect to the database, the rest of this page is meaningless. We will get loads of rubbish upon the page. Okay, so if require connect.php and inside connect.php we need to start up PHP MySQL functions. Firstly, you need to know we will start with our variable called connect and this will use the function MySQL underscore connect. That's the first function you need to learn. It's a very important function that enables you to connect to a database MySQL. This takes 3 parameters. The first one here is the web server itself, the address of the web server. I'll use my computer at the moment with a local web server with my local host. This can be written as 127.0.0.1 if you wish as a substitute for localhost. I prefer typing localhost personally, but I'll use the standard username and password given to me. This is root. My password doesn't exist because I don't have a password. We've established a connection, but what happens if this connection is not initialized properly? What we can do after this is write or die, and in brackets we can specify an error message, for example connection failed. So let's presume at the moment this connection works. I'll echo out a piece of code saying connected. Okay, now if this does not connect successfully, the rest of the script will run and echo out connected. Otherwise it would just give you this text and won't run the rest of the page. So what I will do is I will open the backup here, refresh, and you can see connect.php and mysql.php, and I'll click on mysql.php. The reason I'm not clicking connect is because inside MySQL we require connect.php anyway. So as long as these both are saved, we can just run mysql.php. We have connected successfully. Now if I were to say change this to something like I don't exist, then we get a connection error because that host name doesn't exist, at least on this computer. I can refresh and it's taking a long time. Okay, there we are. You can see that we have got MySQL error here and we have connection failed text just here that we specified earlier. Okay, so we have got unknown MySQL server host. If you ever get this error, you know what to look out for. This is the host I specified and you can see what line it's on and all our usual debugging message code. So let's presume that in fact what I can do first is show you another useful thing or die. You can also specify another function here. This is the second function that you should learn. It's MySQL error. Just put brackets like that, and when we refresh our page keeping the I don't exist, we can refresh and it's taking its time. Okay, there we are. What we basically have done is we echoed out the same error message that PHP has given us anyway. However, if your if your error reporting is turned off for your user, this will give you what you want. Now we don't echo out this to the user. Let's say we go up here and say error reporting. Please see the error reporting tutorial I made if you haven't. If you have set this to 0, this will turn off all error reporting. So what happens is this error here will be ignored, but a specific error will be given out to the user. Let's refresh here. Again, it's taking its time. So I apologize. There you go. We can just say that we got a specific error out there. Okay. Presuming that we have connected successfully using this function, and if not, then we have given out this error message, the next thing to do is to select our database. To do this, we use the MySQL selectDB function. This takes exactly one parameter, and that's the name of your database. So we click on PHP My Admin again. We can see that our database name is PHP Academy. So if I just type PHP Academy, this should work. Again, we could use this or the die feature. Using a die function, we can specify a MySQL error if it doesn't exist or anything like that. So let's refresh this. In fact, I'll change this back to localhost because I'm getting back on track here, and then let's refresh. So that's connected, and if this is not found, we are giving out MySQL underscore error. Let's try that. I don't exist and refresh, an unknown database I don't exist. This is working well. It's quite useful to have these errors, and then we can get users to report back if they don't exist. So it's PHP Academy there. I presume everything is okay, and let's refresh. Change this back to PHP Academy and save that, refresh, and we have connected successfully. What I'll do is keep a log of this and say that I am connected successfully. I'll end our paragraph after this to continue with the rest of our code. Next thing is to write some data to our database, which we will cover in our next tutorial. See you soon. This is Joshua Matthew dubbing for the Spoken Tutorial project.